There is an old story from the northern frontier of China. A farmer, poor, with one aging horse, wakes one morning to find the horse has run off into the steppe. The neighbors gather. "What terrible luck," they say. The farmer answers, "Maybe." Weeks later, the horse returns, leading a herd of wild horses down from the hills. The neighbors gather again. "What wonderful luck." "Maybe," says the farmer. His son begins taming the wild horses. One throws him, and his leg breaks badly. "How terrible," say the neighbors. "Maybe." A month later, the army rides through the village, conscripting every able-bodied young man for a war at the frontier, a war few will return from. The son, with his broken leg, is passed over. This time, the neighbors say nothing at all. For 2,000 years, this story has been told as a proverb about luck, a reminder that fortune turns without warning, and that we should not judge events too soon. But in 1978, 3 psychologists published a study of lottery winners and paralyzed accident victims that revealed something sharper. The farmer wasn't just commenting on luck. He was right, precisely, measurably right, about a defect built into the human mind. You do not know what events will do to you. You only think you do. By the end of this video, you'll know why your predictions about your own happiness are systematically wrong, what your mind quietly does behind your back, and the farmer's one-word practice. The story comes from the Huainanzi, a Chinese text compiled about 21 centuries ago. In Chinese, it became a 4-character proverb: "The old man at the frontier loses his horse." And it usually arrives with a question attached: how do you know it isn't a blessing? Notice what the farmer is actually refusing to do. The neighbors aren't just reacting, they are forecasting. Terrible luck is a prediction. This event will make your life worse. Wonderful luck is a prediction too. Each time, the very next turn of the story embarrasses the forecast. The farmer's maybe isn't indifference. He isn't saying events don't matter. He's saying something more precise. The label you're attaching is a guess about the future, and your guesses are not as good as they feel. That is a claim about human psychology, a testable one. And when psychologists finally tested it, they chose the 2 most extreme cases they could find. In 1978, Philip Brickman and his colleagues interviewed 3 groups of people. The first had recently won the state lottery, sums worth, in today's money, millions. The second had been paralyzed in accidents within the past year. The third were ordinary controls from the same neighborhoods. Everyone knows how this comparison should turn out. The winners should be living answered prayers. The victims, shattered. The data refused to cooperate. The lottery winners were no happier than the controls. Worse, they now took less pleasure in ordinary things. Breakfast, a joke, a conversation. The jackpot had raised the bar that every ordinary moment now had to clear. And the accident victims? Their lives were genuinely harder. But their happiness sat far above what anyone, including they themselves, would have predicted. Above the midpoint of the scale, and climbing with time. 20 years later, Harvard psychologist Daniel Gilbert gave the pattern a name. His team asked junior professors to predict how devastated they'd be if they were denied tenure, a career-defining verdict. Devastated, for years, they said. Then the researchers found professors who actually had been denied years earlier. Their happiness was nearly indistinguishable from those who'd been promoted. We overestimate how much events will hurt us, and how long. We overestimate the joys too. Psychologists now call it the impact bias, and it is one of the most reliably replicated findings about human emotion. The neighbors, in other words, have been measured. They are us. Why are we so bad at this? 2 reasons, and the first is called focalism. When you imagine a future event, the promotion, the diagnosis, the breakup, your mind puts it under a spotlight and stages the whole future around it. What it leaves out is everything else. The commute, the coffee, The friend who calls, the show you binge, the 1,000 ordinary moments that will keep filling your days regardless. You forecast the event. You live your life. The event is one line in a day that has 100 lines. The second reason is stranger. You have a psychological immune system, a quiet machinery of rationalizing, reframing, and meaning-making that starts working the moment reality lands. Within months, it has found the silver lining, the new routine, the story where this made sense. But here's the catch, and Gilbert proved it. The machinery is invisible to foresight. When you predict the future, you forget your immune system exists. He called it immune neglect. So the forecast assumes the wound stays open. The reality is that you heal, and you didn't include the healing in the math. Put the two together, and the farmer's neighbors make perfect sense. Spotlight on the runaway horse, no accounting for adaptation, confident verdict, wrong within a month. Which brings us back to the frontier. Notice that the farmer never says, "Don't worry, it will all work out." That would just be another forecast, as arrogant as the neighbor's doom. Optimism and pessimism are the same mistake in different directions. Both claim to know how the story ends. Maybe claims nothing. It is the sound of a mind refusing to grade an event before time has done its work. Not indifference, humility. The farmer has watched enough seasons to know the one thing the neighbors haven't learned. The verdict changes with the clock. Modern psychology adds the mechanism he couldn't see. The event you're grading today will be regraded by a future self whose adaptation you cannot currently imagine. So how do you borrow the farmer's calm without waiting on a frontier for 30 years? 3 practices. First, widen the frame. When a forecast seizes you, this will ruin everything, this will fix everything. Deliberately list 5 ordinary things that will still be in your life next Tuesday. The meal, the walk, the person. This directly counters focalism. You're forcing the spotlight to light the whole stage. The event shrinks to its real size. Second, consult your own record. Think of the last disaster that struck you 3 or more years ago. The rejection, the loss, the failure that felt final. Where did it actually land? What did it quietly make room for? Your own history is the best available evidence against your current certainty. You have been the farmer's neighbor many times. Check how those forecasts aged. Third, remember you heal in the dark. You don't have to feel your psychological immune system for it to work. That's precisely how it works. When you're bracing for an outcome, add 1 sentence to the forecast. And then I will adapt in ways I can't currently picture. It sounds like nothing. It is the single correction Gilbert found missing from almost every human prediction. And the farmer's 1-word practice? When news arrives, good or bad, try answering the way he did, with one honest question folded inside it. Good news or bad news, measured when? Tonight, the broken leg is a catastrophe. In a month, it is the reason your son is still home. The facts don't change, the clock does. Here is the quiet joke hidden in the farmer's story. It has no ending. Every telling stops mid-cycle, after the army passes, before whatever comes next. That's not sloppy storytelling. That is the story. There is no final scene where the ledger closes and the verdict holds. 21 centuries later, the psychologists arrived with their scales and their lottery winners and confirmed the old man's arithmetic. In the entire tale, the only error ever made was the neighbor's confidence. The sages said, maybe. Science measured the maybe. That's where the sage meets the science. Next time, a monkey trainer offers his monkeys 3 chestnuts in the morning and 4 at night, and they riot. He offers 4 in the morning and 3 at night, and they cheer. Same chestnuts, same total. What that 2,300-year-old joke reveals about every decision you make, And the Nobel Prize it quietly predicted is our next story. Subscribe so you don't miss it. You don't miss